Lose weight without dieting. So we're going to talk today about something, the acronym DRESS, D-R-E-S-S, diet, rest, exercise, stress management. We got to decrease that stress, and supplementation. So I'm health and fitness expert Andrea Schneider. I'm with my good friend Debra Zickel. Debra, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Debra Zickel, and I'm a certified nutritional advisor. And what I do is assist clients in creating comprehensive plans for optimizing and integrating their physical, mental, and spiritual health. And in doing so, you don't need to be on a diet to lose weight.
Exactly. So Debra and I have been friends and working together for over 5 years. She introduced me to some systems that have really helped me change my life, including eating in a way that doesn't spike my blood sugar. So we're going to talk a little bit about the first. So you could think about this DRESS, dress, as a way to remember these techniques and things we're talking about. So the first one is diet. But what we're saying is don't go on a diet. But diet is the way that we have to eat that has to become a lifestyle. So Debra, tell us a little bit more about what you do and like what you know that I'm doing, and I'll elaborate a little more as well.
Well, the biggest key that I work on with clients with success is actually in the beginning taking a list of all of their favorite foods, the things that when they go on a diet, oh, I can't have this or I can't have that, and actually educate them and help them incorporate those into their diet so that they can have them and they're not feeling deprived. And so when the brain is not feeling deprived, then that's more of a love for yourself, and in that way your cells start to do what they're supposed to do to keep you in a healthy state.
And that makes total sense. And I totally agree. And I've done the same thing with myself and the people that I work with, my clients. So like, I love chocolate, and you know that. And I've gone through short periods of time where I haven't had chocolate and I've purposely not had it. And I could do it, but you know what? I don't want to do it. I love chocolate. There's just something about it, the way it melts in my mouth. So if I don't have it, I feel a little bit deprived, and I don't want to feel deprived. So I found if I say, oh, I'm not going to have chocolate, I may eat 10 other things, and then I still want that chocolate, and I eat the chocolate anyway. So I'm going to skip to the chase. I'm going to have that little bit of quality chocolate, satisfy my urge for having it, and move on with my day, as opposed to being focused, oh gosh, I can't have chocolate, I can't have chocolate. So we can have those things, but it's about moderation.
And it's about pleasure. So many times the women that I coach, and this is men too, they're not doing pleasurable things for themselves. So when they go on diets, it's very unpleasurable, and so they don't really have anything that they can really feel excited about. And they're always focusing on what they can't have in it when they go on a specific diet. And I actually have them focus on what they can have, which is all their favorite foods. They just learn how to incorporate those. I eat chocolate every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. So I'm proof that it works.
And I agree with you. And so it's about, you know, like Debra said, you don't want to ever feel deprived, but you have to learn to eat in a way that is healthy for you, that you're putting a lot of good stuff in your body, and that the natural byproduct when you eat in a way that doesn't spike your blood sugar, so you're not on the roller coaster of up, down, the natural byproduct when you keep your blood sugar stable all day, and we can teach you ways to do that, and we'll talk more about that another time, is that your body wants to restore to a good place, and you'll just naturally start losing weight. You did that yourself, didn't you, Debra? You're the thinnest you've been in what, 30 years?
Actually, I was doing all the right things, and that's where I kind of switched my whole practice with clients, is that I had over 5 years done everything correct and put on 62 pounds and didn't really realize it. And so how, you know, releasing that weight came through a process of understanding how I was very unhappy inside myself. And it wasn't as if I wasn't eating improperly, I wasn't exercising, I was doing all the right things, but I didn't have the stress, which we'll talk about, the first S. I didn't have the stress management. So for me, that was the missing letter in this acronym. And so that's what's important. If you don't have all the letters, you don't have the combination.
That's right. And so, you know, and sometimes people eat because they're happy or they're sad or they're stressed. And so we want to be thinking about like mindful eating. Why are we eating? Are we eating because we just broke up with our boyfriend, or we got fired, or we need that pint of ice cream. So why are you eating? Are you eating for function, for fuel? And really, if you think of your body as a really amazing machine, you want to give it the best fuel possible. So that's a little bit about diet. We're going to move on to the next letter, is R, for rest. So what are your thoughts about rest, Debra?
Well, again, that's different for everybody. And, you know, the biggest test that's out there right now is, you know, on the weekends or when you don't have to get up by an alarm, see what time you wake up. See how many hours you actually need without the alarm clock. It's the best test, and that's what you should be going for. And you've got to do it over a period of maybe 2 or 3 or maybe, you know, 4 weeks. And then you'll get an idea of roughly how many hours of sleep that you need in your present physical state to feel good and have energy and be able to get through your day. So it is kind of a process of discovery, and it's not the same for everyone, you know, that's out there 8, 9 hours of sleep. I don't. From day one, I personally have always functioned on 5.5 to 6 hours of sleep. During stressful times, I need a little bit more, and I pleasure myself with you know, not scheduling anything so that I can have 8 hours of sleep. But I don't need 8 hours of sleep to be at my healthiest function, to healthy functioning. So it is different for everybody. And that's what I really focus on is the rest. What kind of rest are you getting? Are you, you know, going to bed stressed out and then waking up to an alarm? It doesn't matter if you've been in bed for 9 hours. That isn't going to have a good effect on your physical health, and you will still hold on to that excess weight.
And that makes sense. And I think one of the goals is that you go to bed, you know, at a reasonable hour for when you need to wake up. So if you find out you really need 8 hours of sleep, like I prefer 8 hours, but a lot of times I get 6 or 7 hours, and it seems as I'm getting older, I really need a little bit less sleep. So I'm functioning great at 6 or 7 hours, but you have to allow yourself that time. So if you know that you need to wake up at 6, you don't go to bed at 2 in the morning, because that will only give you 4 at best. And if you know that you have problems falling asleep, but then get to bed a little bit earlier. So I get to bed a little earlier. I read some affirmations, some positive things. Don't want to watch the news. You want to try and unplug from computers and electronics before. So you have a restful sleep, and you wake up rested is the key. So even if you slept 8 or 9 hours and you wake up and you're still dragging, that's not ideal either. So you want to feel rested when you wake up and feel like you have enough energy, like Debra mentioned. You know, and some people do take naps, and that's great too. And I know, like Dr. Oz talks about taking a nap. That's great. But me personally, I'm not usually a nap taker. So I have enough energy, thankfully, to go from morning to a busy, busy day and schedule all the way to night. And me personally, we're going to get into the next thing about exercise. I find, well, I'll elaborate more on that in exercise, is our E, that I have so much more energy when I exercise. So anything else you want to say about rest, Debra?
It's just, you know, hang in there and don't, you know, don't add that to your stress, you know, because you're not getting enough sleep. So just really, really think of it as a scientific, you know, nutritional experiment as you're going through all of these letters. And I think with an interest and a curiosity, rather than getting down on ourselves or, you know, having other thoughts the way we should do, or comparing ourselves to others, because that's not what this is about. We were really trying to get ourselves individually healthy.
And I know for me, like a year and a half ago, I had some really bad sleep issues for a month. And then it gets to be a downward cycle where you're so focused on, oh, I hope I'll be able to sleep tonight. And then you sometimes can't because you're so upset about it. So that's a good point. But you want to try and sleep without medications, and you want to try and do it in a natural way. And those are things that we can help you with.
Right.
So the next letter being E, for exercise. So me personally, I love to exercise. I've been exercising for 32 years, ran 2.5 miles this morning. And on days, so the past couple of weekends, I've kind of done a test where I haven't been exercising. And I could tell you by like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm just like all of a sudden exhausted. And the first weekend I thought, okay, it's just, you know, whatever, kind of a coincidence. But the second weekend I realized, you know, that's the same common thing that last weekend when I didn't exercise, I had the same thing. So for me, and people I know who I speak with who exercise on a very regular basis, I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, and people say, oh, I'm too tired to exercise. I could guarantee you, if you get into a regular exercise regimen where you start pushing yourself a little bit beyond your boundaries, you will have more energy and you'll be more productive during the course of the day because you're feeling more energetic. So I know you've been exercising more and more, Debra. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've different thoughts. Again, working with people individually. For myself, I love to play tennis. I love to be active. I love to, go to the gym for the weights, the resistance. That's important for our bones. But I focus on activities and keeping busy. And the biggest thing that helped me during this release of the 63 pounds was getting up every morning, looking in the mirror, naked body, and then turning on music and getting that. And sometimes in the beginning, the lights were really low because I just couldn't have the lights up. But over
Right.
time,
Right.
as my body was changing, the lights went up. But dancing. And I haven't found a client yet who didn't like to dance. And if they don't like to dance in front of, with their kids or whatever, is doing that first thing in the morning, getting the nitrous oxide going through your body. And it actually helps you breathe. And breathing is another exercise that I use and help clients with, because actually, if you think about it, if you go to the gym and you work out or you go running like you do, I admire your running, by the way, Andrea. Someday I'll go running with you.
Okay.
But what does that do? It forces your body to take deep breaths.
Right.
So
Right.
if you don't have the quote unquote time for exercise, I've had clients that I've taught them how to belly breathe and stop during the day 10 or 15 times during the day and just do these belly breaths as deep breaths in with the belly rising up and down. And they actually feel like they just had a workout. And so this is really important. I started thinking about this, and it was really a discovery personally that, okay, I didn't have time, didn't stress out over not going to the gym or not working out or playing tennis that day. I just sat down for 10 minutes and did these really deep, heavy breathing and maybe put a dance, some music on before or afterwards. And it made a huge difference. It was
And I
as
agree.
if I already worked out.
We're going to talk about breathing in the next part of stress as well, because that's such a big stress reliever, the deep breathing. And
Right.
so, and when I talk about exercise, like for me personally, I do go to the gym and I do run at the lake, but any kind of movement, so whatever that is for you, so it's dancing, it's walking, it's hiking, it's swimming, it's moving around in your garden, being out in nature, whatever that might be, it's just basically moving different parts of your body. And if you can do some light weights, even better. Like Debra mentioned, it's good to build a little bit of muscle because then you're burning your calories more efficiently all the time, even when you're sleeping. So whatever movement you like doing, and maybe grab an accountability partner, grab someone that you enjoy being with, and get out and enjoy nature. So that's what we're going to talk about for exercise. We can obviously go more onto that. And I've got lots of videos on my website, which is www.mybestme.us. Lots of free videos of exercise, things you can do at home. So you might want to go check those out. So the next topic is stress. And I know we're going kind of fast. It's just a little teaser, giving you some pointers. Hopefully you'll implement at least one or two of these ideas and we're doing them, right, Debra? It's about, we all know these things, but are we doing them? So stress management, you know what, give us an example of the deep breathing, because I really think the breathing is so significant, one, while you're exercising, but even if you're not exercising, to just even sit, if you're really stressed out, focus on your breathing for a couple minutes, and it's hard to really stay super stressed if you're taking some deep breaths. And Debra, give us a little guidance. Show us how to breathe correctly.
So if you don't know how to diaphragmatic breathe, or we call it belly breathing, the easiest way to learn how to do it is to lie flat on the floor on your back and take a deep breath in and to get your belly to rise. So you don't want your shoulders to move. When you're sitting, people, their shoulders, we all breathe very shallowly. It's a survival breath is what I call it. But we really want to be focused and take in this belly breath. So practice lying down on the floor and then you'll get it. And then using the diaphragmatic breathing, you want to breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and then hold that out for 4 counts before you. So it's called box breathing. And doing that consistently for even 5 minutes, focusing on that, because it takes a little bit, I still have to focus on it. Breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, and then stop for 4, and then breathe in for 4, again, like that, and do that for even just 2 or 3 minutes, breath break. And it's a good time to do that before you eat, because what that does is relax, releases stress. And then when you're taking in the nutrition, whatever you're eating, then that's going to be better absorbed by the body. So
Yes,
that it goes, the breathing thing is huge and for managing stress.
I agree. I agree. And that's something that I've thought about more and more. That is, like I said, it's really hard to stay totally stressed if you're focused on some deep breathing and enjoying your breathing. And it's just so good for you. So if you can't lay down, because say you're driving and you're in traffic or rush hour or whatever, just focus on your breathing and take some deep breaths in, hold it, deep breaths out. And especially like when I run, I actually try to breathe out more than I breathe in. And it's kind of amazing that I have that extra breath to breathe out. And especially like if I'm running and I don't really feel like it, then I focus on my breathing as opposed to, oh, I don't feel like running. So it really does help decrease the stress. So any other stress management pointers you want to give? Maybe one more?
I think the mindfulness thing is kind of a buzzword now all around, and a lot of communities, is really just being aware. And the more that you are aware of what you're doing, your emotions, when things happen to you, when you feel like you're starting to get stressed out, just accept that and notice it and say, wow, okay, this is what's happening right now. This is getting me riled up, or I'm nervous about my to-do list or whatever. Just notice that and say, wow, okay, this is very interesting. All right, let's see, what can I do about it? Do I want to breathe here or whatever? Stop resisting it. Too often, especially women, are resisting everything that's coming in our lives, and then we end up burning out, or we end up putting on survival fat, is what I call it, or we numb it with substances, food, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever. And so that's real. Just be aware. And the fact that you're aware of what's going on in your body and what you're feeling and what just, there's tension wherever it is, that's the first step to managing that stress.
Right. And, there are so many triggers right now when we live in a fast paced society. And so sometimes it's a matter of like unplugging, stepping back, and just kind of relaxing. And that's hard to do these days. You got to maybe go out and be alone or be in nature or whatever triggers you're finding. So sometimes it's being with certain people, being with your family, not being with your family. Family could be great, but it can cause you stress. I see Debra kind of laughing. And I know a lot of people, when I talk about it, people usually laugh a little because they all get it, So be around positive people that you enjoy being with and that don't cause you undue stress, and try and get in situations where you can de-stress and manage your stress. And hopefully, again, we're living in a society where the quick fix, people go right to the doctor and then they give them medication. So Debra and I are kind of proponents of try and do these things in a more natural way. Don't just jump on some anxiety pill because you're stressed. If you need it, then you do. But if you can taper off and wean off and try some of these more natural ways, that would be preferred for the long run health. So our next thing we want to talk about is, we're both big proponents. We're not going to mention what we take. We happen to take the same brand of supplements. Debra introduced me to them over 5 years ago. We both have done our research. I'm a research girl as an attorney. I did my due diligence. I found a company that Debra introduced me to be one of the best in the world. And that's the products that I take every particular day. And the reason being, even if we have a great diet, it's still hard to get everything we need in a balanced formula from our food. So even if you eat organic and non-GMO and gluten-free and all this, it's still hard to get the nutrition you need every day. So I think of supplementation, taking a really amazing quality vitamin, like an insurance policy. We all pay for insurance for things. We hope to never use them. This I'm using every day. I reap the benefit of putting good nutrition into my body. So Debra, what do you have to say about supplementation?
Well, I think also too, it helps to get tests done. Everybody knows about how vitamin D deficiency is the link to a lot of degenerative diseases and a lot of things that none of us would like to acquire. So go ahead, get your vitamin D level tested. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're not getting, even if you're getting out in the sunshine, you are not getting your body's not able to convert to the vitamin D from the sunshine anywhere above the northern hemisphere for at least 6 months of the year. So get yourself educated, get curious about these things, and really do it. Again, it all goes back to figuring out what's best for you. That's why working with somebody who's an expert in the field that can help guide you on your journey. I know I didn't mention earlier, but I had some issues with my gut, and I had to take quite a few supplements 4 years ago when I first started on this path of healing, but now I hardly take any at all, and I'm able to monitor myself. I take a base vitamin every day and a lot of omega-3s, which for my body helps keep the inflammatory responses off. And so you really do have to figure that out. It's not just about swallowing a bunch of pills just because it came on the news or whatever. And then over time, be able to daily monitor all of these things and switch it up for your body. Because really, we're like cavemen. You know, they didn't eat meat every day. They ate seasonal vegetables and kept the body in awareness of what's happening in their lives.
Right. And actually, and Debra talks about vitamin D. And when we first had met about 6-7 years ago, that was the path. I had already had breast cancer. I wrote a book on breast cancer. I've got it right here. You Are Not Alone, Life After a Breast Cancer Diagnosis. And I was giving a talk at a women's health panel. And I don't think you were there that night, Debra, but we met around that time. And there was a naturopathic doctor there, and he made the connection of vitamin D deficiency and a lot of major illnesses, cancers, and particularly breast cancer. And in my research, I had not come across that yet. But when I started looking at it, I realized he was right. And I'd already basically published my book, so I didn't add that in. But I then went and got my blood tested, realized I was borderline vitamin D deficient, started taking the particular product Debra and I take, and was able to boost my vitamin D level from a 31 to an 86 and felt amazing. And here I live in sunny San Diego, and I was basically deficient in vitamin D, even though I'm outside and do all that kind of stuff. So most people are deficient.
Right, and deficient in many vitamins, because what happens is all the stresses that we just talked about that are really tearing down your cells. And if you think about it and be curious, were we really born drug deficient, or are we born nutritionally deficient? And so that's really what you need to figure out for your own body. This earth suit that we're all walking around in on this earth, is they're all different. So figuring that out is you're going to have to get some expert help. And I know that Andrea and I both have some tools that will help you. We have a health assessment that you can take that will help guide you on the road to figuring out what is best for you. And in the end, it's getting started on something and seeing if it has a reaction in there, rather than waiting until you have a chronic disease and you have to turn to medications. So
right. And that's really what Debra and I really talk about and advocate and help other people with, is being proactive on our health so that we're staying in good health as long as we can. And I like to think that we can actually improve with age, as opposed to a lot of our society. If we look around, people are getting worse and worse, and they're getting all kinds of diseases, like Debra mentioned, cancer and heart attacks and diabetes. So we're working on avoiding that and helping our patient, well, I don't want to say patient, our clients and our friends be able to work on prevention and staying super healthy.
Right. But once you get it going, it'll be on autopilot. It seems like a lot in the very beginning, but it's just like anything. When you first started your job, you had to pay so much attention, and then after a while, you were able to do your job very easily and add in other things. And so this is nothing more than that. Too often, people are confused because they get all this information and they don't know who to turn to, where to go. But they have to understand that it is an individual thing. It's not a one size fits all.
Right. And so basically we work on consistency. So it's not like, and you don't do any of these things one time up. Okay, I'm super healthy now, I did it once. It's consistency over time. You have to build it into your lifestyle and figure out some things that work for you, like Debra just said, and put them into your life on a daily, consistent basis. And over time, you will get amazing results.
Absolutely.
So, Debra, we're going to close it out. So what are your last thoughts here?
Well, just the acronym has really helped with so many people. Just to keep that in mind, if something's going on with you, and be curious, just stay interested instead of frustrated about what's going on with you. And remember that thoughts create physiological responses on your body. I heard a great talk just a few weeks ago about, and a doctor was talking about, if you go to the gym or you work out or you were a weekend warrior and you wake up the next day and you have a pain in your back, you attribute that to, oh, well, I worked out too hard. And, so you take it easy, or, your mental part of that is like, oh, okay, that was fine. But if you woke up in the morning with that same pain and you didn't do anything, and that same exact pain in that part of the body, now your brain is saying, oh my God, I'm dying, something's wrong with me, and you get down on yourself and you go down the train. So just keep yourself curious, use the acronym that we use to keep kind of all those things in check, go down the checklist, and then really ask for assistance, ask for help, because there's a lot of us out there that have paved the trail for you, and will make it easier.
Very good, Debra. So very good information. And so if someone wants to find us, they will go down below, and in our description, click down. This is on YouTube. Go all the way down and you'll see how to contact Debra. Just say it, Debra, and then I'll put it there. So how are they going to contact you?
Through my email, debrazusana@gmail.com.
Okay, so I'll have that written out down below. And the best way to reach me is, since Debra gave her email, I usually don't in these videos, but I'll give mine. It's abundanthealthyandrea@gmail.com. So that is a way to reach me. If I don't get back to you right away, I don't always see my emails. So give me another day or two and then email me again. But then also the best way to reach me is through my website, which is www.mybestme.us. And I'll have all those links for you down below. Feel free to scroll all the way to the bottom and write us some comments, and we will answer them. And thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for some of our future videos. We'll go into more depth on these and also some other topics. So thank you so much, Debra, all the way from Colorado, and I'm in San Diego. Thanks to technology, we can make this video.
Woohoo!
Yeah. All right, I'll see you soon, Debra.
Thanks, Andrea. Okay.
Bye, Debra.
Take care.